sponsor, The Health Blaze, at thehealthblaze.com. 100% all natural products from lotions, soaps, foot soaks, bath bombs, and much, much more. Use the promo code Goodfella1Boxing. Tell them your boy CJ Goodfella sent you, get 18% off. We out. All right, man. Congratulations to JoJo Diaz, who is the new super featherweight IBF title holder of the world. And those scorecards was way too close. I think 116, 112, and 115, 113. That fight was not close. I gave Tevin Farmer one round, and that was, I think, the second round. He got dominated the complete whole fight. He got dog walked. But let's talk about the fight. Don't forget, we on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can reach out to the email if you have a business question, inquiry, sponsorship, or video request. Keep sharing the videos. Appreciate the love, support. This fight wasn't close. And I get tired of boxing politics and all of that stuff, man. Tevin Farmer got absolutely dog walked. He was treating JoJo Diaz like a runt, like a mutt. And real hardcore boxing fans know JoJo Diaz is a really good fighter. And it's a lot of world champions out here who are a lot less skilled than JoJo Diaz. You know what I'm saying? And they get way more recognition. JoJo Diaz is a hell of a fighter, and he proved that versus Gary Russell. The reason he lost to Gary Russell was not just Gary Russell was a more phenomenal fighter. He just didn't have enough gas. It seemed like he was at 126 pounds too long. And Tevin Farmer was a guy that campaigned at 135 and came down to 130, so he assumed JoJo Diaz was just a smaller fighter, and JoJo Diaz was a smaller fighter. But to talk about the fight, JoJo Diaz just outmuscled him. People talking about, well, Tevin Farmer defense is not that good tonight, and this, that, and the third. No, JoJo Diaz was that good. And I'll talk about the commentary in a minute. It's the reason why I made the video so long. Use reaction video, 5, 6, 7 minutes, maybe at the most. But, you know, JoJo Diaz came out and established, go to the body. This is how you handle a guy that's slick. You go to the body, use the jab to occupy him. He jabbed him to the solar plex. That pushed him out of position. And when he got far out of position, he ripped the body. Now, a couple times, he took some chances to the head and whiffed, and some of the times he hit. But he was way more effective early on when he wore the body down. When he wasn't just shoe shining to the body. He was throwing thudding shots to the body. And, you know, eventually it froze the head of Tevin Farmer, and it took the juice out of Tevin Farmer's leg. Now, early on in the fight, Tevin Farmer said he hurt his right hand, which is his lead hand. He's a southpaw. And then right after he said he hurt his hand, the very next round, I think in the second round, JoJo Diaz said he cut his eye. All right, he got his eye cut. It was due to a headbutt. But it didn't deter JoJo Diaz. JoJo Diaz came behind the high guard. He was able to give Ben Larry some time to heal the eye, and he was the real MVP of the night, the cut man Ben Larry. And then JoJo Diaz just proceeded to go to work. He hit him with a lot of straight left hands. He hit him with a lot of 1-2s. He hit him he got him out of position with a lot of jabs to the solar plex. He ripped him with uppercuts. He ripped him with a lot of left hooks. He ripped him with right hooks. He countered him. He banged his body. I mean, anything you name, Tevin Farmer was lethargic tonight. You know, and it just JoJo Diaz was the better fighter. He executed the game plan of his father in Joel Diaz, who was one of the favorite guys to interview out there as a coach. Really good dude to interview. And he froze his body with a body shot, with them body shots. That's what you do with a guy that got a lot of head movement. And Tevin Farmer had in his head this dude was a journeyman. He was pedestrian. He was a vagabond, whatever you want to call it. And we all know, real hardcore boxing fans know, JoJo Diaz is a really, really tough game fighter. Golden Boy just don't promote him the proper way. You know, and what JoJo did was he executed the game plan. He was rough with him. He went to the body. He really stabbed the body. He really punched through the target. And the referee was kind of like getting in the way. He wasn't letting him work and talking about he was holding his head down. That's because Tevin was holding. That's what happened. Tevin was holding, you know, because Tevin couldn't deal with the quantity, the volume of punching that JoJo Diaz was doing. If Tevin wasn't able to hold, Tevin was gonna get knocked out. You know, people saying, well, his eyes was blinking and he trained, he fought too much and he too active. No, how about Sergio Martinez, Chris Minix, and whoever else caught in this fight? Give JoJo Diaz his just due. Tevin Farmer had fought absolutely nobody. The guys that he was fighting were barely creeping into the top 10. James Tennyson is garbage. Juno Carroll had 6 knockouts. The last guy he fought, Grimo Francois, he wasn't that good. You know what I'm saying? He was fighting guys that was barely inside the top 15. in one of the worst sanctioning belt body, the worst ranking systems in the sanctioning belt body in the IBF. So he fought JoJo Diaz, and it was a step up in opposition. JoJo Diaz is arguably one of the better super featherweights out there. He just don't get the promotion. But they want to give an excuse for why Tevin Farmer looked bad tonight. The only excuse why he looked bad tonight is because JoJo Diaz was the better fighter. I don't care what he said about his eyes. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what he said about his hand. JoJo had to deal with the eye. You know, JoJo Diaz was the reason he got taxed tonight. Nothing more, nothing less. Everybody in boxing that really knew boxing knew Tevin Farmer wasn't that good. And I kept telling y'all, oh, he can beat Gervonta. No, he can't. Oh, he can beat Lomachenko. No, his defense the best versus who? Nobody. If your defense, like he said, is up there with Floyd Mayweather, you don't get knocked out at any point in your career by Jose Pedraza. You know, and they want to make all these excuses, Minix and Mora. No, JoJo Diaz is a huge step up in class for him. And I just showed you, just because you got a title don't mean you a good fighter. It's a lot of dudes that got titles that shouldn't have titles. That if it was one title in the sanctioning belt body or one title in the weight class, they wouldn't have them. Politics got Tevin Farmer that title. Had Gervonta fat ass made weight, he would have never got that title. That's how he got the title. You know, for the DAZN commentary, they wanted to give all the credit. They wanted to give every excuse to Tevin Farmer and never gave credit to JoJo Diaz. And somebody finally mentioned it, like Mora was like, well, JoJo Diaz is a step up in class and competition. They mentioned that for like a 10 or 30 second clip. And the rest of it was why Tevin's thinking, why Tevin ain't fighting this way. Because Tevin ain't never fought nobody as good as JoJo Diaz in a long time, in 8 years. You know, JoJo came out with the Kobe jersey on. That's what happened. That's what happened. Now, if you want to get rematches, the same thing gonna happen. He don't have the skills. His defense is not great. It's not good. It's average. It looked really good versus a guy like Juno Carroll. You know what I'm saying? And this dude was feeling himself. This is what happened when a nerd become the manager. This is what happened when the nerds run the school. This is what happened. This is what happened. He was feeling himself. He was on some CB4. He was on some NC Gusto. He really thought he was Floyd Mayweather. He thought he was Sugar Ray Leonard. He thought he was Sugar Ray Robinson. He started to believe his own hype. And all them Philly dudes came out today. Danny Garcia, his daddy, with some few other guys there. Not sure if Boots came out. They all came out there, and everybody can see on their face he was getting his ass whooped. He not as good as Stephen Foltman or Fulton or Danny Garcia or Jerron Ennis. He's a dude that just got match made the right way, and he got a opportunity at a title, an easy title because of Gervonta. You know, and most boxing fans will tell you JoJo Diaz was gonna win. People who really watch boxing knew JoJo Diaz was head, shoulder, knees, and toes above Tevin Farmer. You know, I thought JoJo could have stopped him at some point. I predicted 11th round stoppage, but you know, Tevin Farmer had a better jaw than I anticipated, and that's probably because he's pretty big for the weight class. But don't give me that stuff about, oh, he cut weight and this, that, and the third, and you know, he had man, everybody got issues. He got beat up because he was not the superior fighter tonight. And the zone commentary need to stop it. They need to stop it and give JoJo his credit. They was doing everything to discredit the job that JoJo Diaz was doing tonight. Oh, Tevin, his eyes is blinking and I don't understand why. Oh, Tevin just doesn't seem to have the defense tonight. Oh, Tevin seems a little tired tonight. Oh, it's from all the training and he hasn't took a break. He stays in the gym and this, that, and the third. No, he getting taxed because JoJo Diaz was the better fighter. Anybody that turned on the film, anybody that looked at the resumes in boxing would have told you JoJo was better. That was being honest. But that's the least thing that boxing fans look at these days. The least thing boxing fans look at, and boxing aficionados, and it used to be like this. The last thing they look at is your resume. They don't never look at the resume. You could beat 20 tomato cans and you get a title, and people say, well, you know, he really good. No, Tevin Farmer has beaten absolutely nobody. Nobody. JoJo Diaz beat way better people. Andrew Casico, who just stopped Machado. Rene Alvarado. He fought Gary Russell, and he was competitive in that fight. Tevin Farmer's fought nobody near the caliber of those guys in the last 8 years. Now, he want to go out for a cheesesteak tomorrow after getting beat up. Well, it is what it is, but it wasn't close. Humble pie was served, and this when you think you MC Gusto. You think you Ray. You think you Leonard. Ray Leonard. You think you Floyd Mayweather. You just another You just a leather dude. That politics got a belt. But hey, congratulations, JoJo Diaz, unanimous decision. New IBF super featherweight title holder of the world. Don't forget we on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Reach out to the email if you have a business question, inquiry, sponsorship, or video request. Keep sharing the videos. Want to make a donation to the channel? That link's in the description. Cash App, PayPal. Appreciate the love, support. One time for the one time. We gone.